gender markers. Now, sex, we need to distinguish from gender identity. And sex is typically really a biological term that has been historically based on external genitalia, and sex markers were assigned at birth for a long time. Nowadays, often doing genetic testing in utero, that may even happen before somebody is born based on a chromosomal profile. Additionally, we think about reproductive structures that are present, as well as hormones and receptors that are present, and secondary sex characteristics, and then the sex dimorphic brain structures. All of things are very biological. So we think about sex in the field as being much more of a biological thing that we need to recognize. But in understanding gender identity, it was actually really helpful for me to do some research in understanding that actually biology occurs beyond the binary as well. So what do I mean by that? So there are individuals who are intersex or have the clinical term you would see is disorders of sex development. In the field, we typically say differences of sex development to indicate that variation is biologically normal. If you look around the room, we have different hair colors, different skin colors, different hair textures, heights, widths, etc. So variation is biologically normal. And so we talk about differences of sex development. And a few examples of differences of sex development, and in the area here, we're talking often these lead to differences in reproductive structures or in genitalia that are observed. And so those are the intersex conditions. And there are hormonal variations that can lead to, for example, feminization of folks with XX chromosomes, like folks who have complete or partial androgen insensitivity syndrome. We can also see masculinization in folks with congenital adrenal hyperplasia who have two X chromosomes. So we're already seeing there can be variations outside of those expected ladder of assumptions. Then there are also some chromosomal variations like Klinefelters, where we can have multiple X's in a Y chromosome, or Turners, where there's an X and an O, a blank on the other chromosome. So already we see that there are differences in sex development, so that binary foundational piece of the ladder doesn't really hold true. And then additionally, we need to think about identity. Again, that wasn't a term that we had until more recently. That's our internal sense of our gendered selves. All of us have a gender identity, and there are going to be a range of gender identities I'm going to talk about, but we all have them. Transgender refers to folks